Oh, hi. Hello, everyone. My name's Josh Herman. Welcome to Art Jam. Today we're going to be making some stuff on the Gnomon streaming channel. Whatever one you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, any of those. Hello, welcome to the stream in case you've never been here before. We stream every Wednesday from 2 to 5 Pacific, so hello. And today we're going to be doing something a little different than we've done in any of the previous streams. We're going to try to complete one project within the stream. So if you're not able to check in or be here the whole time, feel free to pop in and see how we're doing. And yeah, like I said, today we're going to be doing something different. Last week we ended up doing 6 25-minute sculpts, which I thought was a pretty fun challenge to kind of breaks things up into being like more task-based, goal-based on like a specific thing, which was pretty fun to do. And so today we're going to be doing something different, but for the whole stream. So in case you've never seen before, right here is a 3D printer. We have a Form 3, and I've been getting into 3D printing a lot of this year and kind of experimenting with different things. And today I want to do a little bit more of that. And what we're going to do today is we're going to make a set of dice, a set of RPG dice. So we're going to be in ZBrush, and ZBrush already has a lot of all this stuff kind of in here. So we're going to go ahead and get into that here in just a minute. Before I do that, though, I'd just like to put this up front, just in case anybody has no idea who I am or questions that might be good for people to know. I'm going to change our layout here just a little bit. There you go. So now I'm in the bottom. This is my art station here. So if you have any questions on entertainment stuff, right, whether it's working on big budget movies or whether it's working in games or whether it's doing 3D printing or anything regarding 3D stuff, as far as anything that might be a good question for me, please feel free to ask questions, and I'll definitely do my best to answer them. We'll be checking the chat the whole time today, so please, if you have questions at all of any type, please ask, and I will do my best to answer. So yeah, today we're going to be getting into a little bit of sculpting some dice. So we're going to be using ZBrush today. Kind of switch over to this view real quick so you can see me full screen. So if you don't know what we're making, basically we're making a set of dice. These are dice, in case you've never played role-playing games before. This is what we're going to be making. I already did some tests, so I'm using the Form 3 here, and you'll see that I made a handful right here. They're using their model resin. I did some tests yesterday so that we can see. Oh, there we go. I only made a 20 on my 20-sided die, to kind of get some ideas as to what would be good for 3D printing, what would be bad for 3D printing dice. And so I kind of did two. The ones that you'll see right here, if I can get them both lined up. Here we go. Well, there we go. Basically a soft one and a round one. I kind of like this one personally when I play with them because they roll a little bit more, and I kind of like the drama of that. But we can also be making these. So we're going to make a custom set of dice today in ZBrush. And the goal for today is to sculpt on them, get the numbers, get everything set up, and then probably go into Preform, which is the software we'll be using for Formlabs Form 3 to set the print and get that all set up. So again, that's kind of our goal for today. If you have any questions while we're doing that, please feel free to ask. All right, we're going to jump straight into ZBrush full screen here. In case you didn't know, I didn't know this until a couple weeks ago, and somebody had shouted out that this was in ZBrush already. They already have a full set of dice in here, which is pretty awesome. I think it was under Tools. Was it under Tools? I just saw it recently, because I just loaded it up because I did some printing. Oh, here it is. Dice Primitives, right here in the main part of Project. So I'm going to load this up. It's going to replace my entire project, which is fine. And what you'll see is it gives us a nice 20-sided die to work from. I'm going to change my colors today. Let's choose this dark green. I'm going to choose a matte cap that I like to work in. Maybe let's do something a little different, or something quite the same. That's kind of the same color-ish of what we've been working in. All right, now again, all of these are here already. So if I turn them all on, well, first you'll see a cube because that's a 6-sided dice. but you'll see them all kind of overlaid. And so we're going to add numbers to all of these, sculpt them, get them to be roughly the same size. And we'll do a full set. And then the goal is to start printing that, whether it's tonight or tomorrow or whatever, but to have them for next stream so you can see what they look like. As per usual, if you're a big dice fan, I'm going to start with the 20-sided die, which is this one. And I figured we would go ahead and sculpt on it for a little bit and figure out how we want to do our numbers, our font, and kind of make this the, I guess the like, what's the right word? Not the control, but the one we're going to have every one kind of based off of. Whatever the styling we do for this one, we'll propagate that to the rest of them. All right. So the first thing that I want to do, and the great thing that Pixelogic has already done, is these are all already polygroups, which is cool. So I don't have to worry about any of that, which is fantastic. And if I just start subdividing, it just turns into a ball, which is not exactly what we want. And so what I'm going to do is get each of these set up as far as like the styling of the overall curvature. So I'm going to add some subdivisions here. So we're going to come in here. I'm going to turn off, this is the smoothing that you see when it starts smoothing, it automatically is turning it into a spherical shape. I'm going to turn off this button right here, and I'm going to add a couple divisions. Then I'm going to turn this back on and add some more subdivisions. And this is kind of, if you know, depending on if you want a die that's very sharp or a die that's very rounded, this is where you can kind of create that. So if I turn this off and say like up to level 5, there's no smoothing, and then there's more smoothing beyond that, you can see that we get a different level of bevel here on the die, and we still get these really nice polygroups that they're starting everything with, which is fantastic. So I like a little bit of a rounder one. So I think I had it at 3. It's pretty round. Let's see what 4 looks like. It's not bad. I do already have, so somebody saying the stream is lagging. Apologies for the internet. I already have a relatively large one here that I use, so this is probably the size that I'm going to make this one at today. Apologies if the stream is lagging. My internet has been up and down today, so I'll show you kind of what I'm working with on that side. Just one of those things we can't control. My down is fine. My up is probably not going to be great, though. Yeah. Minutes ago, this was a 20. So we'll see if this comes back. Now it's saying it's a 20. So hopefully the stream will get better for y'all. I don't know why it goes up and down so drastically like that, but it does. All right, let's go back to this. All right, so we have our first shape. This is the roughness that I think, or roughness that I want this to be, I think, even though I'm also, what I'm trying to do is actually compare it to this one that I have right now. So what I'm doing, just because you can't see, is I'm actually taking this and trying to make it about the same size. I'm holding it up to my monitor. And on my screen, this is what it would be like if it was life size. And I think that roundness works like that. So yeah, we're going to stick with that. All right, let's go ahead and do the rest of these really quick. We're going to get the overall size relationship between them all as well, because we're going to print the whole set at one time. When I did these ones over here, I ended up printing all 4 at one time. And there were some errors, but overall, you know, like I was saying with these 4, they worked out pretty good. You can see this one, for example, has some printing marks on the back, so I was doing some research about how to avoid this and different ways to prepare the print, so I'll show you that near the end of the stream when we get to that point. So we got our D20. Let's go ahead and make our 12. Obviously, any of these, if we start, ooh, that's a weird shape. If we start smoothing them right away, is going to have that same issue. And I kind of want that roundness. So I'm going to turn this off. I think I had done till 3. That'll be fine. And I was going to up till 8 on every one of them. Okay. Let's go up our 10-sided. Ooh, I don't know if I like the top of this. Definitely something weird going on at the top, but that'll be fine. Our 8-sided. Yeah, way too round with that one. Yep. All right. Go through all of these, the cube. I do kind of like the old-fashioned cube, where like the edges have a kind of a roundness to them. But we can make a really like soft cube here. And then our D4. There's other ways to make D4s, which I was thinking about doing today. Just a different style rather than the pyramid. But the pyramid's pretty classic, so we might do that one. You know what? No, I lied. We're going to do a different one. We're going to append a cube. I'm going to bring this all the way to the top. This is one of the ways that I've seen them made before, I believe. So you can see I'm just adding some subdivisions to those. I'm going to go to our Z modeler here. And I'm going to do the polygon island, I think it is. Polygroup. And then I'm just going to squish it. It will probably not want me to do this. We're going to go into our, what would be transform. Change the way that our thing is working here. Even though this geometry is going to overlap, that's okay. We're not going for perfection here. This is not going to be a, a perfect die of any type. Let's try to get it somewhat in the right range. What am I trying to create? I'm making just like this little diamond shape. And today we're going to do a set of dice. So I'm making a D4 today, or right now. So instead of doing We'll turn off solo mode, turn off all these. This is kind of one style of D4 dice, which is this one. And then this is another style where we'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and you roll it that way. So changing it up, we're not going to use this one. Actually delete that. Great. So now we have our 20, our 12, our 10, our 8, our 6, and our 4, which now, I guess I could like crease this because I want to get some hardness on this edge. I'd also just Dynamesh it though. I'm just smoothing the whole object right now. All right, there we go. I'm going to save this as my working file. All right, there we go. A beautiful sort of rectangle cube. So we're going to get all these sizes going as well. The cube is just massive in comparison to the rest of them. So let's go ahead and get these sized up. First things first, I'm going to make this one smaller. Let's start with just like the relationship maybe between these two. I'm going to make this one bigger. Okay. Okay. That's fine. This to this is fine. Maybe a little big. These should feel comparable. They always get confused though when you're looking at this one, like trying to tell people which one to grab. Like, do you want this one or do you want this one? All right, so that looks about the right. And then this one is now more appropriately sized. And this is like nice and tiny. But about the right height. So we'll see if that one works. I'm not really sure. We're going to give it a shot. All right, let's get rid of this and let's save one more time just so we have a better working file to start from. And we'll continue. So the next thing we need to do is we need to make some numbers. So we're going to make some numbers, obviously. I have some dice here that I'll use as like a reference point of where the numbers are going to go. So right now I need to choose my font and just kind of get that set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new folder called Numbers. Which I accidentally put that in. We're going to append just a shape here. Get this out of there. Make that new folder now. Numbers. Cool. All you have to do, it's actually really, really simple to get some numbers, is you can go to your Z plugin. We'll put this over on this side so we're not taking up too much real estate. And you'll see they have a text 3D and vector shapes thing here. So what you can do is you go to new text, you type in the word or numbers that you want, and you have text. It's pretty straightforward. Within that, you can choose your font. So any of the fonts that you have loaded, you can pick. So if anybody has a specific font they think is awesome, we can change that and it'll adjust it. You can also adjust the extrusion amount. So this is going to be something we're going to use quite a bit. With that, you can also adjust the bevel. We'll probably put a slight bevel. The spacing is the distance in between the words or digits. We will not be using that. And this is the amount of resolution on the whole object to make it a little more clean. We'll definitely be doing that, turning that up to 10, and bevel resolution is going to do this, which basically makes that softer and smoother as well. Additionally, you can come in here and add some curvature. So if you want a negative curvature, you'll see it where the bevel's happening. If you want an extra shape there, we can do that. And then we can do the opposite, which is make more of a curved edge to make that feel a little bit better. We're probably not going to use the curvature, or very little of it. Awesome color scheme you have for UI. Thank you very much. It's right here. You can go up in the top right, and this next user interface colors, if you're on your default one and you just hit right to the twice to the right, you'll get this exact color scheme. So let's choose some. I don't mind this though. What's this? Oh, interesting. Oh, you just hit the arrows. So you can see you can basically go through all these different fonts and see if you find something you like. So we're going to end up making the whole set of whatever we want here, 20 through 1, and that way we can just quickly put these in onto all the dice and have the consistent font. Old English. I should be writing down which ones I like more than others. Oof. Let's see. We got to find the perfect one. We could also do different ones per, die, or different ones depending on what we really wanted to do as far as 20s could have a different one. But I think we'll be okay. That's probably a terrible font. Yeah. Comic Sans. I'm going to skip over Comic Sans as fast as possible. This is kind of like a... In fact, this is what you'd see on the back of a jersey, but I kind of like it. You just hit edit text here and you can type in, whatever number you want. So what I'm going to do, just to test this out, is... I think it messed up, but let's... There we go. Now we can see them. I kind of like this one. We're going with this one. All right. So now that we've got this, I'm going to have to make tools for every single one of these. I'm going to keep them in a folder that I can, so that I can either scale them all at the same time, could put them in at the same place, because I'm going to be duplicating this quite a bit, and I'm going to be using the live Boolean feature within ZBrush to make it so that I can add a a like engraved effect, or engrave the numbers of the dice onto it, just like you would see, in something kind of like this. So you can actually see on, if you've never seen these, but they're all kind of slightly engraved, and so that's how we're going to get that effect, is by using the live boolean. Okay, so 20. Obviously, we don't need well, we do need 1 through 20, but not every die is going to need that many. So now all I need to do, because it's using the same font, it's also keeping the same extrusion numbers. I'm just hitting new text here. It's going to be adding them to our list. We're basically getting everything set up. There we go. So what that means is all this stuff stacked on top of itself. You'll kind of see over here, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 20. So if I kind of delete this, because you don't need this anymore. Numbers. I can start grabbing these and putting them in the folder. And this is going to be like our master set. I'm going to keep these here. And so again, if we highlight individually, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just making sure these all look okay. There they are. Cool. Let's get in here. So now that we have these, I'm going to collapse this. I'm going to duplicate it. Oh, sorry, that's the die. I'm going to save, as we should. Every time you make a decent iteration or a decent step, mostly things that you don't want to do again, you save. All right. Duplicate. Great. I'll be able to adjust these and basically take each one and trim out the numbers I don't need and then kind of move them around. Okay, so we're going to start with our 20. So I'm going to rename this as well. Rename to D20. Numbers. And then I'm going to just start organizing my folder structure a little bit better. Get the D20 on top. D20 numbers here. I'm going to scale everything within here to itself, meaning I want them all to be the same size. So I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to transpose the set. So you can see everything else kind of turns gray. And now I can scale these all down the same size. You can also rotate them all the same size. And what I'm really doing right now is just making so that I can see them. So let's get this out. So that does seem close to the size I want. I mean, I'm sure if I move this down a little bit, it'll be a little better. And what I'm going to do is just turn this on. I'm going to turn our live Boolean on. I wonder if that's not working because it should be under here. I'm missing something. What am I missing? Just saving really quickly. Trying to figure out why this isn't working. Hide the 20 and click another subtool? Maybe. Yeah. Weird. Whatever that was worked. One thing I also wanted to say we could do is we could duplicate this and we can make a hollow one, which I thought could be interesting. So we'll play with this later if we want to do a hollow one. But right now we have one. I'm cool with how that looks. If we wanted to play around, we're going to turn this one off. Right now this is what it would kind of look like. We can make it shallower if we want, right? The nice thing about live Boolean is you can move things around and kind of get a sense of what it's going to look like. I feel pretty good about this. I like it deeper though. Realizing that the hollow one, like some of these sections here, would need to be connected. Otherwise they would just fall apart. So we'll probably will not do a hollow one. Even though that would be cool. Cool. Now if I move this back in here. Oh. Maybe this needs to be in there. Yep. What am I working on today? Tristan, hello, good to see you. We are making a dice set today. 3D printed set of dice. In case you guys are just joining, I already did a couple tests over the weekend or over yesterday, so you'll see one of the ones I made, or I made a little handful of tests here, but basically, you know, just to make a quick test of we're going to make a dice set today. All right, so we've got all this set up. We got our little numbers set up. We have pretty much everything now. We just need to start putting the numbers on. Once I get the numbers on, I'm actually going to start sculpting and adding some design. But right now, we're just kind of getting the basic stuff out. So I'm going to be using, you know, our little companion here of where these. I'm going to basically follow what these numbers are. So I'm going to work my way down. Looks like the opposite side is a 1, so I might just start there. I'm going to make these indentions pretty deep. I thought that I was making them pretty deep when I made these ones, but what you'll notice is that they're actually not at all. Like when you see this, it's pretty subtle. And I thought those were pretty deep, so I'm going to go extra far on these. And hopefully it'll, you know, make some extra shadows or something. What did I print this on? The Form 3. Yes, the Form 3 is right here above my head. All right, let's get this 2. I see a 20 up and to the left of the 20 is the 2. Now this is going to be interesting. What is it, 50 degrees? What is the angle on a D20? What is the angle, Googling, of a side D20? 138.19. We're not going to get this perfect. So what is 138 minus 180? It's like 180 minus 138 is 42. So I want to get close to 42 every time I do this. All right, 14. Actually 8 goes right here as well. I'm also using this as like a guideline of like, does that seem like it's kind of centered or off center? Like this too, now that I'm looking at it. It's maybe a little wonky. That's fine. All right, what do we got next? 18 and 4, okay. This one is obviously going to take the longest. So we need to go like this direction. 42. How do we get that there the right way? Definitely not there. I wish I eyeball some of these. They don't need to be perfect. This isn't Vegas. You're in Vegas. That's right. All right. So we're just going to end up putting all these on here today. All right, I got to do 11, 13, and 5, it looks like. So 11, 13, wait, 5, 13, 11. 13. They have it on this one, like this. Okay. That one is a little messed up. How am I? I'm good. Thank you for asking. Just kind of getting through this little project here. Excited to have a set though. All right, so 11, 13. This was going to be 5. Obviously, obvious things being obvious, you know, this gets faster on every version that we do, or every dice that we do. All right, we're about halfway done on this one, though, which is nice. Let's see, what do we got around 1? 13, 7. They put all the unlucky numbers right here, didn't they? Oh, they have 13 going the other way. That's okay. Just having to refer to my reference here. So this has been a kind of a fun little personal thing to start working on. Is anybody in chat working on any fun personal projects themselves? Although the Gnomon students are just wrapping up their term. So probably just finishing up a bunch of finals. All right, 7. I'm expanding the visible count to 21 so that I can see everything all at once. Modeling an entire living scene from scratch in Max, that's awesome. And modeling a weapon, somebody's making a weapon. Somebody's making some fan art of Desan from the Jedi Outcast, or Jedi from Jedi Outcast. Nice, nice. All right, between the 5 and the 7, what do we got there? 15. Alex, what kind of weapon are you making over there? Let's see, between 19 and 11. We need the 9. Oh, I should create a little... I'll have to sculpt in something to say whether it's a 9 or a 6. That always happens whenever I'm playing games. Some... Gonna rotate this way. Double-handed weapon, a warhammer. Very nice. Medieval, sci-fi, what kind of thing are you making? You guys should post your links if you guys have any work in progress, so everybody in the chat can check them out. Let's see what we got. Next to 2. All right, 2. Let's find this 18 and the 15. 18, 15. We need the 12 to go here. think futuristic style. I already think about your details. That's awesome. Ooh. Try not to scale it because I know that is going to make a weird difference. All right, we're getting close to this D20 having all of its numbers, which is great. In between the 12, and there's an 8 over here. 8, 12, we need the 10. You can tell that my precision is getting less and less, but I think it really doesn't matter. Can you share portfolios? You're welcome to share whatever you like. The software that I'm in right now for the streaming, oddly enough, won't let me click to view it. But other people in the chat can take a look at what you're looking at. I feel like one of these should be rotated like this. Just feels like maybe it should just make this way. Was it 42 degrees? Is that right? Well, it doesn't look right at all, does it? That doesn't look right at all. It's because the 10 should have been spun. Let's undo. Oop. Wrong subtool. Yeah, this is the 10. Let's rotate this 10 instead of the 8. That'll do. I got a little bit more difference in here. What am I making? This is a D20. I'm making a D20 right now. I'm putting all the numbers on my D20. Getting ready to... Oh, okay, this needs to be the 9. All right, we need to come in here really quick. We can undo this later, but this... Oh, God. What did we do? I touched this. Okay, good. We're going to make a little mark here. I'm going to drill that in. This is the 9. That'll be perfect. 9. Now the 6. Do you think posting work in progress is good or just finished projects? I think it depends on what your goal is. I mean, there's a lot of professional artists who post their work in progress, and there's no issues with that. If you're, I'm not able to view your portfolio right now, but if you are an amateur, that's fine. I think posting work in progress is fine. People get to see your work process and what you're doing, and especially if you're looking for feedback, it's a good way to be able to give them context into that. What you're trying to make and all that. So I think it's totally fine. If you want to have a highly curated, only finals portfolio, absolutely you can do that, and a lot of people do. But it's not, I don't think it's necessarily like a necessity. Maybe a little close to that. So it just feels a little close to in general, doesn't it? Let's just bump this thing up just a tad. There we go. All these are being highlighted, by the way, so that there's a little extra shadowing and shading that's happening in here because it's not being selected when that's happening. So I think we need our 16, which is going to go here. Did I do 19? Yes, okay. So when I start questioning what I've done and what I haven't done. Depending on the time, we might not go through and do every single one of these today. Just because I don't know if it's the most exciting thing to watch me placing all these numbers across a, more or less a cube. But we'll get a style at least for one of these. I think we only have two more. We have a 17, which goes somewhere, and then a 3. 3, 17. Just chilling. There you go. I've done a lot of different creatures and characters and even some props and had guests on, so I figured it'd be nice to have like a little change of pace today. Chiller. Less like theory based and all that, but just something a little different today. Alright, this is our 3. It's going to point up here. I am really curious to see how these deep divots work. I did the last ones, like I was saying. These tests that I did are in this model, so it's kind of like this tannish color. And the next ones will be in one of their rigid 10K material, which is much harder and a little heavier as well. But these things are loud. Like, I was rolling them yesterday, like, probably hear that. But they feel good. Definitely needed to be sanded, though. Like I was saying previously in the stream, you can see the bottoms of these have a lot of scars where I just let the software do automated supports, and we'll get to that at some point. But I'm going to try a different type of support this time because what I noticed, and this is, if you're a role-playing fan, the opposite side, for example, this one, on the opposite side of it has a bunch of scars, and that means that it's actually really hard for this part to lay flat, and that means I rolled that one and another one, not joking, probably 150 times, and as you can probably tell, I only put a 20 on these, right? Like, it's only a 20, so it's like only if you get critical, but because there's so many burrs and scars that need to come off on the actual face of the die, I never rolled a 20. On 2 of them, I never rolled a 20 combined. So it's like 300 rolls. It's supposed to be a 5% chance that you should get a 20. Never got one. So I would never, ever play with that die, but I might give it to a player. But it did make me understand a little bit more about how, you know, the importance of the lack of scars and stuff, or where you place those, is going to be. Yeah, obviously you could sand it, and I did do sanding, so that helped on the ones that I was able to roll on, but it was never perfect. So something I'll still need to be aware of, but I'm going to try basically putting supports like this. This is a video, a couple of YouTube videos I saw recommended that putting the supports straight down the lines rather than the face should result in a better print, or a more, what's the right word? Not achievable, consistent, rollable print. All right, we have our D20. That is done. We're going to sculpt on this in a minute. We could probably get the rest of these done relatively quickly, and I kind of want to print them all at the same time. So we're going to save. It only took us an hour to get that all set up, so let's go ahead and see if we can complete our goal today and get the rest of these. Tristan's posting what he's working on. Awesome. I'm going to take this. Since I already have all these numbers, I'm going to just take this here, make this smaller visible count, click it, duplicate, yes, that's fine, duplicate, yes, that's fine, duplicate, yes, that's fine. Just get all these out of here. We're going to take one of these, we're going to move them upwards. We're going to do the 12 next. I'm about to sneeze, hang on. I saved you all, I think. All right, let's get this up. Move this whole thing up. This is going to be inside of here. Now have our D12. We obviously don't need, on a 12-sided die, a 20, a 19, an 18, a 17. You know how to count, so I'm not going to say every time. There we go. Now we got our 12s. Let's hide this. Let's show this. And then the thing that I actually need to do before I do this is I need to pull this out. Okay. Whoop. Show this. The numbers are way too big right now. So I need to transpose the whole set. I think I pulled out the wrong one. There we go. I was like, that feels wrong. I think even a slight bit smaller. I'm going to get a D12 here. This is my favorite D12, and it has really big numbers. Not a fan of red wax. Oof, red wax. I'm with whoever said that, Alex. So this is the size of numbers that I like on my D12s. Ooh, that one's got a little crown. I actually don't like that. I don't like the crown because I'm always like, wait, what dice number did I just roll? Oh, that's right. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's put this in here. Let's hide everything else, show, and begin moving things. Whoop. Ooh, those might be a tad big. Those might be a tad big. We're going for it. Big numbers. These are also going to be really deep. All right, what is the angle of a side D12? Dodecahedron, I think is what this is called, right? Internal angle 150. Are they all 150? I think so. Just 30 degrees. So let's run with that. 11. All right, I got to look at this thing. We got our crown, which is supposed to be a 12. Right underneath that is going to be our 10. Oh, but they had it rotated. That doesn't matter. Does it? Does it matter? 30? Ten. That doesn't look right. That does not look right. That's the one I wanted. Thank you. Going to grab some hamburger buns? What? Now I'm just so confused. All right, let's turn this on. Where's that 10? There it is. All right, let's rotate it about this way. Great. Then we're going to rotate it 180. Nice. You can tell I'm into positively encouraging myself on completing this project today. I will make these dice today. I will make these dice today. This is a 6, so we're going to put that same dot because we need to do that here. Three. The birds are in your mic. The birds are in the song, actually. But yes, in a way, that is in my mic. All right, now we need to do our 9. This is going to be on this side. Push it down just a little extra further, just because we got to do this. D20, currently D12s. Currently D12, but we do have a D20 up here. So we're going through them all today. Right now we're on our D12, just getting our numbers in. Got our fonts selected, got all our things created. Just going through them all as fast as we can. Getting these things laid out. Each one should go faster than the last. At least that's the goal, right? Okay, that might print really strangely. So we'll figure it out. All right, let's flip this thing on its head, because now we just need to figure out, I guess, we'll do the 10. Above the 10 is an 8 and a 2. Okay. So we're going to do 8 on the left here, and then 2 there. I think this 8 is, I don't know what the right word for fonts are when they're like, they can be flipped any direction. Is there a certain term for that? I would say ambidextrous, but that's hands. So I don't actually know what that means as far as fonts are concerned. They want this to point down. So what's a 0 for? Why is there a 0 on this font? On this? Why is there a 0? Is that a 10? There's a 10, and there's a 0, and there's a king. Where's the 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, did I say 5? 3, 4, 5. 1. Because there's no 0. You don't need a 0. 1, 2, okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's an 11. It's not, this dice does not have an 11 on it. I've never realized that until just now. Huh. And they thought nobody would ever know. How dare they? All right, let's flip this over so it actually looks like a 2 and not some weird 5. I kind of wanted it to point this way. Okay. So now that we've got that, I can kind of work from this angle now, because all this side's covered, which is good, so I just need to do this side. A lot of looking down at dice today. 5. Let's get that 5. Whoop. This is actually a very zen project. It's kind of nice. What is the name of the program I'm using? I'm using ZBrush today. I don't know if this is the best dice for me to be referencing if it's missing a number. As far as like the best rollability. But I guess at the same time, you know, making your own dice isn't necessarily going to be the most perfect die you've ever seen in your life. So I'm okay with it. All right, we need 7. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is like the depth of these engravings is definitely where you get like snacks stuck in there. Like for sure. Long may he reign, indeed. I figured it was a good shirt, you know, to wear today for making some dice. Little Critical Role fans. All right, and I wonder if those are like touching each other. Okay, looks like they're not. All right, that's our 20, or not our 20. Oh, I did it. Somebody else said it. Now I'm saying it. That's our 12. After everyone, I'm going to save. All right, let's do our 10. Probably the most confusing dice. I think that the 10, for some reason, always gets people like flustered. Is like, is this an 8 or is this a 10? I've done it myself many times. All right, I think I just deleted what I wanted to be there. Let's make sure this is still good. Yep. Okay. Close that. Open this up. That is an 8-sided die. So, also not what I wanted. Apparently, I dragged the 10 into some folder in here. Or it's just gone forever, which is very possible. Okay, there's our 12. This is a 8. It's also a D100. I don't really want to... the percentile die, for me, I'm not a fan of the percentile die. What, did I delete the 10 somehow? The hell? Alright, I'm going to do this. Going through every single subtool. 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8. There she is. You can use the arrow keys to do that in case you didn't know. All right, hide all these, hide all these. Great, open this up. We don't need this anymore. Yeah, you can roll a d10 twice if you want. You just need to like clarify which one is the first digit and which one is the second digit. I want to say always okay, even though that's an incredibly dangerous button to hit. But we're doing it. All right, let's get the rest of these done. These shouldn't take as long, hopefully. Let's get some reference dies out. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Let's do the ye old cube. And then the 4 we'll just make that one up. All right. So I need to make all of these different sizes. So first off, I need to get this out of the thing. Turn all these on so that I can transpose the set of these and move all of them at once. I'm going to bring them all up. That's probably okay. We'll go just a tad smaller, just in case. Really, it's just the 10 that's going to be the big challenge there. So we can turn this off. All right. Now, I don't like actually how they have a 0 as a 10. It always confuses me. Like, for some reason, I don't know why. So I'm going with putting the actual 10 on there. That's probably so you can use it as a percentile die as well. But not interested. There we go, 10. You think that we're... Oh, they just squashed that thing. Whoop. Trying to use that center line as like a way to tell. I think this 10's a little low. Oh, not that one. This one. There we go. How did I make the numbers? Really good question. All you got to do is you go pick something else. Under Z plugin, there is a text and 3D vector shapes. Come in here, you hit new text. You say new text or whatever you want. There it is. This will let you choose from any of the, fonts that you have on your computer. And then you just play with your extrusion settings, which is what this is, and all the other stuff down there. So that's how we're doing that. And 0, 4, now we need to do a 6. I think it was like 50. I got pretty lucky with 45 degrees, so we'll try that. I think it's like also like another 42 degrees or something. Every day you discover something new about ZBrush. You and me both. That's the best part about, doing this type of work, though. You're always learning new tools. You're always learning new ways you can do things, which is really fun. What's like the marker I'm using? There's like this gray line. I'm going to say a little higher. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. All right. No, this needs to have a dot, though. Well, it's also not totally in the right place. Yeah, that does have a bit of a faceted edge to this, but I think when they're, this small, nobody's really going to see that. So that's okay. All right, we need to do our 2. $40 degrees. I think I said like 45 degrees. That's not a 2. That's a 2. According to the height guideline I was using, I'm going to push this down just a little bit. So it doesn't look like they're all like super off. All right, and then we need to do our 8. All right, let's get the rest of these done. Flip this thing over. Underneath the 10, we have a 7 and a 3, so we'll start there. 7 would be on this side. You can really mess with somebody who like really needs these things to be perfect. Like if every number like is just ajar and like just the wrong angle, I could see that being really annoying for people. Somebody out there is probably like, nope, 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 nope. Really cool project you're doing today. Thank you, I appreciate that. Something different. We do a lot of creatures, a lot of characters, a lot of sculpting. And today we're doing sculpting, obviously, but something different. Something to change it up. All right, next to 3. 5, 9, 1. How did you make the dice? The dice are actually already in ZBrush. They're a project. So I didn't do anything to make the dice. I did change some of the subdivision levels and the smoothing. But that's about it. I'll show you where they are in just 1 second. There's actually somebody in one of the previous streams from the chat who showed me where they were. So it's pretty cool. Save. We're about halfway into the stream. We have about halfway of our dice done. So we're getting close. If you go into Lightbox, you can go to Project, just right here. This Dice Primitives. It's going to have all from D20, 20, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4. I made my own 4, so that's the only difference, really. All right, next to 5, we got to do our 9. Yeah, no problem. And I was playing around, like I was saying, because I had done some tests. So in case anybody's joining who hasn't been here before or doesn't really know what we're doing or why I'm doing this, I did some tests and I 3D printed a couple test D20s from the Form 3 behind me. And so you'll see, a sharper one and a softer one here. And so we'll be printing. Be easier to do insert meshes. That's actually very, very smart to do that. Alex is just saying, Alex F1 is saying in the chat that I could probably just do this as an insert mesh brush, and you are correct. But we're so far in now that I feel like I've committed. But yeah, if I would have done that one time, I could have just made an insert mesh brush of each. Good call. And that means we have to do... This is our 9, so we need to put this little dot in here. And there's our 6, and there's our 9, and so right next to that is going to be a 1, which should be our last 1. Yeah, because right now, you know, having every single one of these kind of being dependent, you know. It's a little bit of a challenge. Because you just want to get it all in the face. I'm getting pretty good at lining these things up. Good enough. All right, there's our 10. All right, save again. So we've done our 20, our 12, our 10. We're going to do our 8, our 6, and our 4, and we'll be done. And we'll probably start sculpting a little bit just for some design stuff, just for fun. All right, so we need to take this. We need to duplicate one of these. That will duplicate all the numbers. I'm just going to hide that. Speaking of Critical Role, this sounds like the Critical Role theme song. I think that I duplicated this one twice. You're digging the Desert Storm UI. Thank you. It is right here under Next User Interface. This is the default one. If from the default, if you hit right twice, you can get the Desert, apparently now known as Desert Storm, in there. Okay, let's hide that. This is the one that I wanted to duplicate. I'm going to duplicate it later, though. I don't know why I keep saying I'm going to do that. Okay, that's the actual 20. Let's go ahead and delete that. Okay, I want this duplicated. Yes. Great. All right, we're going to bring this up. But first, we're going to go ahead. 20 can get deleted. Delete, 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 delete. Because we're on what, an 8? We're on an 8. Great. Let's drag this upwards. Let's put the 8 in here. Ta-da! I actually need that out of there, though, because I want to be able to size them. They're clearly a little large. Transpose the set. Whoop. There was a request for, you know, what was it? Somebody had a request for more sound effects. I can give you more sound effects. This is how we do them. All right. And we're going to click this little thing. That's how you click on all of your different ones. We got our, let's get our 10 out of the way. Let's get our 12 out of the way. We got our reference 8 here. There it is. That's what we're making right now. Let's start with that 8. I think it might be easier if I just rotate the whole object. Not 50, 45 degrees. So that way when I'm rotating these, I'm not rotating them all at an odd angle. All right, 8. Mm-hmm. And then this is a 7 right underneath it. So let's just go with the 7 out of the way. It's going to be like this-ish. It's going to go here. Oh, see that? We're getting some holes in here. I had a feeling this was going to happen. I had a feeling this was going to happen on some of these. So I'm just going to be squishing. See me scaling it till that hole doesn't appear, because the indentation is quite deep. So that means that those two holes, or those two booleans, were meeting each other, which isn't really what we want. All right, got that out of the way. Cool. Next up, 1, 5, and 4. 1. Let's turn off our perspective. We don't need that on. That also means that basically from now on I don't really need to go super far. On the pushing it in for the extrusion. All right, so we're going to do a 4. Great. Let's get our 5. See, that's sticking through here as well. Anytime these are going to start intersecting is where we're going to be having problems. So just going to squash this a little bit and probably reduce pretty much all of these as far as how far they're going in. That one is going pretty far. Try to avoid that. That'll also cause some problems in the print itself, or has potential to cause problems in the print itself. That's also another reason that we're doing this. Is that 1 backwards? Yes. Yes, it was. All right, on the 7 side. Seven, 6. I'm just going to stick it in like to the line on this thing. See how that goes. Feels a little better. That 7 is super deep in there as well. Let's trim that up, shallow it up, make it a little more consistent. That feels pretty good though right there. Now because there's no 9s anymore, I don't have to make those lines. Even though this one has a line, but there's only 1 6. So that's a little weird. We need a 3 and a 2. So let's get our 3. Where are you? There you are. So I'm just going to use this blue line here. It's like the example of how far that should go. Do this. Probably down a little ways. That's probably about right. And then we have our 2. 7. Looks like it went down a little too far, so I'm going to push that up. So what I'm doing is I'm actually basically looking at like this line. I rotate around and seeing which ones are sticking out too far or not enough. This one, I just do like this way. Okay. All right, our D8 is done. We've got 3 more to go. Well, no, 2 more to go. Our 6 and our 4. So after we get one done, we go to the next one. Close this, turn that off. We got our 6 here. A little rounded one. Just thinking of if we could make a cool shape here, but we're going to pass on that for now. Push this down. Let's push this all the way down. It's going through numbers. I don't need that. Let's open this up. Get rid of all these. All the way to 6. I turn them all on. Turn these numbers off. Just so I can only see this and the cube. And this way I can select and transpose the whole set. And we'll scale these down to be about yay large. Until I like big numbers on my dice. Alright. So, yet another. Well, we got a dice down. We got a dice down. Alright. 6 and 1 are on the opposite sides, so let's just get going with this. Turn this off. 6. Hide all the rest of these really quickly. Did I have this one? Okay, good. Just go in like yay far. Turn this on. Oh, you need to be in there as well. And voila! A 6. One's going to be on the opposite side. They have it rotated like this, so we can keep that. It's the wrong direction, but we can keep it. All right, so in between those, we got a 3. And a 2. They have it this way, so why not? 4. Which means we have our last one, which is a 5. Oh. I was like, something is going on. Cool. Got that one done. As per usual, we save every time we complete one because we don't want to redo all that work again. And then now we're on to our 4. I've never made this type of D4, so it's going to be completely random. It's just a smaller style. I don't love the triangle ones, so we're going to do this one. We'll see how it works. Is it possible to make loaded dice in ZBrush? Oh, I have no doubt you could. You can make hollow objects, and you don't necessarily have to tell people that the object itself is hollow. And you could put a weight or have more material on the inside of its hollowed, so I'm sure you could. All right, we're going to delete everything in here except for 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. I'm going to show this. We're going to show these. We're going to transpose the whole set. See if they're we put in the side basically like this. I think that'll be fine. So I'm now going to drag this and put it in here. I can just turn this off. Turn the, I'm dragging, not multi-selecting. There we go. Let's just go ahead and get these in here. So the 4, it's going to go in, rotate. Why? Why are you not subtracting? Something's going on. Go ahead and saving really quickly. There we go. Let's try another one. There's something going on with this object. Apparently I dragged the actual die itself into another cube, which was not what I wanted. Do you have enough geo on the dice? That's a good question. I do. On. Aha! It was probably just some stupid thing I wasn't thinking about. Alright, so we got our 4. We got our 1. These are probably going to be going in a little too far. Try RTX voice. It will cut that noise from your mic. I keep hearing there's issues with my mic, but and I've played around with it, but I don't really know what the problem is. Remember for our... Oh, I just placed that in the wrong spot, huh? I did. This is just for a personal project, yes. All right, that's all. That's all of them. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dice. All right, so we have about an hour left. I can either get into printing right away. I think the bulk of these are probably just going to maybe have a little sculpting stuff put into them. At this point, what I'm going to do is just start sculpting on the high level ones. So I'm going to hide this, show this. See what's going on in here. Where's this one coming from? Oh, there we go. So the cool thing is that we can start sculpting on this in any way we want now. And I wanted to try some stuff really quickly too. Just the D20s. I don't want every die to pop up. I'm not really worried about a perfect die, to be honest. I just want a big one that I made. So I wanted to play around with the surface really quick. Thank you for saving the project. Surface, lightbox noise. Thinking like a stone-like quality. It's obviously using UVs or something. So not all of this is going to be perfect, but this isn't bad. Oh, my computer is not stoked about this, though. Let's apply to mesh. Let's edit. Doesn't matter, really. Oh, sorry. Not that button. This button. Strength 0.05. Okay. Oh, it's definitely moving those things around. Well, it does kind of give it like a nice like little overall quality. So that's kind of nice. Now let's get in here, just do some sculpting maybe. Now the nice thing, and I have not explored this, so this is completely impromptu, is that we have all of these islands. Now I want to try something. I think we should go down lower. No, let's just do it. That's not too bad. Get into ZModeler. I want to QMesh. Yeah, I was worried about that. Let's go down a whole subdivision level. Yeah, it's not going to do it because it has multiple subdivision levels, which is fine. But I can mask this. There's got to be a way. Because it's not a ton. All right, I'm going to try something real quick. Let's take the whole thing. We're going to duplicate it. Sure. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try geometry, delete lower. Okay. Now if I now come in with the Z modeler brush. This is a test. I'm not saying that's what I want it to look like, but I could create something with this. What else could I do in here that could be interesting? Clay polish? No, we don't want that. Edge loop. We could come in here and we could do, we'll see if this crashes the computer. We could do some panel loops or group loops. Let's do group loops 2. No polishing. Efficient. So, oh, I thought I deleted this. Okay, okay. Okay. Let's do 4. Edge loop. No. Yeah, we don't want edge loop. We want group loop. Still more than I thought. Panel loops. Oh. Panel loops is making it interesting things here. That's also destroying part of our mesh, which is exciting. Group loop. So I could obviously put some ridges on this. What if we undo this? I want to soften this a little bit. I want to try to create like some sort of a line on the outside, but because of the, you know, the... I think I shouldn't have done 4. I think that was too many. All right, let's undo all of that. I'm also trying to find like a workflow for this right now, just to give you an idea of where my brain is at. I'm trying to find a good workflow here. So let's do one, I guess. What does 0 loops do? Nothing. 1. That might be the one. What if we turn this up? No, no. No, 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 no. All right, so let's mask. Let's soften our mask. You can do this a bunch of different ways, but I'm going to try to do it this way. So we're softening it. Okay. And what if, while this is on, what happens if we smooth it? What's that look like? No, no, no. What if we smooth this? No. What if I shrink this? Oh. Oh. Why is this on? Why do I see the other one? Because there's a whole one on top of it. Aha! Now you're seeing what I'm seeing. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh, this is like the everlasting gobstopper D20. There's probably ways we could do this in a better way. There is, actually. I could use the group loops. If I had multiple loops, I could be... All right, so last time I did one. If I did like 2 or 3, I could have like little different bevels in there. But I could probably also just... I mean, I kind of like just this. It's like this is a piece of stone. With like some little indentions in it, maybe. Feels kind of like a soccer ball. So I'm going to unmask that. I'm going to try to get this piece again. And this time, I'm going to just go much sharper with that angle. Just like a rock. We could obviously now come in and like start, if we wanted, crank this way up. Actually, you could also use like the slash brush. That's a pretty common one that people use. /3. If we wanted to like design, you can sometimes you see things that'll be like this. We could come in here and do that if we wanted. But I like how deep these letters are, and I kind of just like the simplicity of what we did. Maybe we could this probably won't look good, but it's worth a shot. And yes, for those who are asking if I care about perfect rolls, no, I do not. I do not. A little jagged. Also didn't apparently go straight back with that for very long. I mostly am the DM anyways, so I control the rolls. I kind of like this as far as a style, so I'm going to put that on all the other ones now. Let's close this. This should be the exact same thing, but just different. So I'm going to save and start creating the actual file that we're going to be printing from. We have about 50 minutes left in the stream, and so the goal for today is to get into the printing software and be prepping our file by the end of the day. So in 50 minutes, it's definitely doable, considering, you know, we're very close. All right, so that's our 20. We're going to hide our 20. We're going to come in here, check out our 12. We're going to come into our 12. We're going to do the exact same things that we did before. So we're going to use surface. We're going to use, I wonder if the noise will be still applied. Nope. I think we did this one. Yep. We're going to apply it to our mesh. We're going to delete our subdivisions. We're going to do a group loop. Oh, I didn't want group loop with that. No polish, one loop, group loop. Just select that. Also can see everything at once if we want to do that. Is there like a visible option in here? Yeah, whatever. Turn them all on. Alright, so now we can invert this. We can soften our mask, hide our mask, use this, push it to the center of the object, bring it in just a little bit. This one looks like a soccer ball. Do the same thing a second time. This time, just a little extra detail to kind of punch that design in. And I feel good about that. All right, let's do this to the next ones. Here we go. This is the 10. So 10, geometry. Kind of see the repetition that I'm getting into here. Surface, noise, apply to mesh. You likely won't see this. It might just look like errors on the print. I don't really care though. So, geometry, no polish, one loop, group loop. Try to click that edge. There we go. Select it. There we go. Might as well show the rest of our subtools. There we go. Mask this. Put it to the center. Hide the mask. Clear the mask. Cool. Let's do our 8. So now you're going to see the repetition. And this is why I did all that work early with the numbers and, you know, making sure that whatever I was doing, that there was kind of an intention to it. Because now that I have a setup that I like, it doesn't really take all that much time to go ahead and make all of them kind of the same. So this was 1, this was 0, group loop, cool. Sorry, somebody has a leaf blower outside. Alright, let's... This one's already got it, that. Now this one, I kind of messed up on because I made it myself. So this one might be different. And honestly, I'm okay with that. So I'm going to group loops this. One loop. Group loop. I guess I should come in here, do the surface real quick. That's interesting though. It creates like this little effect. I don't mind that. Yeah, let's run with that. All right, let's save this. All right. Now what I'm going to do, there we go, there's my mouse. Subtool, I'm going to go into each of these. I'm going to make a Boolean mesh. This can take a little bit of time, but they'll now, or they should be, up here. This is what the actual mesh itself will look like. So I'm going to do that to all those. Check them all, make sure that they look all right. Looks good. Then I'm going to append them all into one thing, and then eventually we'll pop them over to preform. Do not need it to do that right now. All right, let's now append all of these. There's a multi-append somewhere, but we'll just do these one way. Real quick, append, 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 append. So we're also going to make sure that these are all roughly the right size that we want them to be. All right, so that's our whole set that we're going to end up printing. Now, I know that I wanted this one. I'm going to have to do some measurements really quickly to be bigger. So what I'm actually going to do, I'll show you how I would do this. There's other ways to do this, but this is the way I like to do it. I like to measure on my screen. So it's going to be hard for you all to see this, and I'll try to use the, what's this thing called, the action line as an example. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually have a measuring tape here. I know that the D20 that I personally like right here is 1 1/4 inches, which is about 35, I think, millimeters. So what I'm going to do, and most 3D printing programs work in millimeters, so I'm going to have this up next to my monitor and try not to scratch it, and I'm going to place this so that this specific one is about 35 millimeters. So on my screen, that's kind of what this looks like right now. So now what I'm doing is I'm basically saying this is what the dice, if I don't zoom in any further, this is what the dice in comparison will look like, which is actually pretty big compared to the rest of the dice that I have in my hands. All of them except for the D8 is roughly the same size, which is interesting. And that D4 is not tiny, but not small. So let's go ahead and get this one. I think if we bring them all over like this, we should be fine. Now I did want to try to create, since this is a printing file, like I had said before, I'm going to try to create the supports and put them on this edge. Also because I added that texture, I'm hoping that when I print this, the scars that are on the dice will go away a little bit. They might not. It might also make it way harder to sand because then the texture might go away, so we'll see how that goes. But, you know, it's a test. All right. So let's take this. Trying to get this pointed downwards. And I'm going to drag this upwards. Ideally, we're looking at a point. It's going to be off balance because the dice themselves are off balance. But you can kind of see what I'm getting at is I want to create a point here for all that. That one's fine. That one's fine. This one. This one, I might just print like this. I think that'll be fine. So there they are. I think that's going to be good. We can get over into preform here in just a second. That's the software I'll be using. That 8 is a little off, which is bothering me. I don't want to fix it though, so pretend I never said that. All right. I think I want this one to be slightly bigger. Let's say 1.2. Also 1.2. Give them a little bit of space. Not too much space. I'm going to use the bottom of the program here. Can't really see it, but I'm going to use the bottom of the program to, there's always a line on the bottom. And I like to use that to actually line things up. Let's scale this one up just a tad. These are, I'm hoping, if I do my calculations correctly, that these will be slightly oversized dice. This one, I'm just going to scale it up. If it's the size of a baseball, it's the size of a baseball. I'm okay with that. I want it to be double the size of every other dice that's there. So be it. All right, that's it. We're going to save this. We're going to get this over into preform. Saving my file. Going to now merge them all together. Actually, I don't have to merge them. I'm going to open up preform. This preform is loading. I'm going to end up switching some things around, so great. Get this out of the way. I will end up using rigid 10K. I know you guys can't see anything, so apologies in advance. This is preform, which is the software we'll be using. What I need to do is, it's actually really easy in ZBrush because Formlabs and Formlabs and Pixelogic have kind of seem to have an agreement of some kind. But you go to the 3D Print Hub, and if you have a Formlabs, it's super, super easy. All you do is you hit send to preform. And in preform, you'll see that it's loading. Go ahead and repair things that need repairing. Apparently it's got a lot to prepare. A tall pyramid. Somebody's animated Jesus saying how the D4 would turn out if a small side would just be a point. Yeah, the classic one is a pyramid. Right, I wanted something different. Apparently there was a lot to repair that I wasn't aware of. It's probably because some of those booleans I made are not, also interested. Cool. There they are. Right now they're all directly on the build platform. I can select any of these and place them out. I had placed them already in ZBrush, but that they are still oriented in the same way. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take all these, I'm going to copy them, I'm going to paste them. I'm going to move these over here. And we're going to start with these first. So I want to show everybody the difference in what I'm going to be doing right now of the two different types. So the first one, I'm just going to grab every single one of these. I'm going to put them together. I'm actually going to separate them a little bit so you can kind of see what is happening when I do this. I don't want them all to be grouped together on one raft, which I'll just show you what that is really quickly. But basically, what we need to do is we need to create supports for them. So underneath here is supports. I'm going to do auto-generated supports. I'm going to change this down to 0.4 because these are small objects. If you go below 0.4, meaning 0.35, which is what I'm typing right now, you'll see you get a potential error. So I've noticed on the forums it sounds like 0.4 is the smallest amount of touch point, which is all these little things we're about to create. If I auto-generate, everything in here is going to get automatically supported, which is what all of these little things are. This is the touch point size that we were talking about. And it's going to automatically create all this. Each one of these is getting its own raft. This is a raft, meaning there's different ways for this to kind of work when it prints. I don't really like that because when they all come off, you have to get them all off in one big piece, and sometimes it's just really hard to do that. So I'm going to avoid that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo. I'm going to grab each one of these. I'm going to move it away, and I'm going to do automatic supports for each one individually. Shouldn't take very long, and now you'll see that that one is individually supported. Now this is how I printed the other one. So I'm going to do, when I do my print, I'm going to do 2 sets of dice at one time, and I'm going to do both the other type, which is why I oriented them, and an automatic generated one, because I want to see what it looks like if there's a difference in between the print quality. So now I can kind of put these over here. So grab, put it kind of far away, auto generate, cool, auto generate. So these are all good. And these can basically be printed. Now, if you click on something, you'll kind of get a good chance of it. But right now what it's saying is that there's some errors in the prints. I'm assuming that if I did this to everything, I'll undo this in a second, but those printability things should go away. So that doesn't mean that there's an issue with the model. It's saying that there's issues with the way that the models would currently be printed, which is obviously not what we want. So let's undo that. So let's take one object and move it over here. All right, so you can edit supports. When you are in edit support mode, whenever you touch one of these points, it will create a support for you, or it's telling you that's where it's going to create a support. This is the touch size of what we're doing. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to go to the very bottom, and I'm going to undo that last one. Just touch it. I'm going to try to draw a line down this little spine piece. I am minorly concerned. Let's see what happens if I hit apply. You see that it's basically going to create a bunch of supports that are going to go in there. So this is the goal, is to make it so that that doesn't happen, or that there's this thin line that doesn't create any things on the face. Now you'll see this is the opposite over here, and this is kind of what we're doing. So I'm going to undo. We're going to go back in here. We're going to go into edit supports and just start placing them in this little area. I did create that design line, which my concern is that it will obliterate that and fill it up with little scars that are going to have to be, you know, fixed or something. Failed to add a support. Okay, why? That one's just fine then. This is what the recommendations for were when I was finding videos and, you know, other people saying how they print dice. So we'll see how this goes. It is having these two errors. What you're seeing here is saying this is a problem. So as soon as I get this done, I'm going to click here because there's an issue. So it's telling me this is going to have a problem. So I click there, and I'll click here. Now it's telling me this is sufficiently supported. Good job. And I can hit apply. And now we have a supports that have very few supports on the actual faces of the die itself, which from my testing over here, I noticed that if, I'm going to find the one that has a ton of marks on it. This one, for example, had a lot of problems on the surface, and that made it, I could obviously sand it, but I'm going to try to create a die that has like a texture to it. So what it needs, I'm just trying to make sure it's ultra supported everywhere else except for the face. So that's why I'm adding so many. I don't think it probably needs that many, to be honest with you. But this was kind of what I saw other people doing, so I want to give it a shot. So let's grab another one. and go into support mode. You can see this one has some problems here that we're going to have to do as well. I mean, you can tell that it's probably basically saying, like, if I did this, those red areas are already being fixed. So I'm not going to go as insane as I did on the first one, because I do agree that's probably overkill, especially for such a small object. But we'll see what happens. Okay. So you see this number, the minima is anything that's basically hanging and would have an error when it prints. Meaning anywhere that has these is going to be a problem. So I need to eventually add supports there as well. All right, so I'm going to say this one is going to be here. I could probably put it on the inside. Yeah. Let's try to put it on the inside. Sufficiently supported. Apply. So you can see what it's doing there. It does look like it's created some little tiny thing internally here, which is interesting, but I think that's okay. All right, let's get these other ones out of the way. We'll do these pretty quickly. If there's any questions, go ahead and shout out. Let me know. Not going to be as precious this time. This one probably just needs like a couple like this. We'll see. Why do you have so much problems? You just click on one to make it go away. So I'm trying to, you can see that I'm trying to not put it on the face if possible, but it really, really, really wants me to put it on the face. It's like you want it to just go there, don't you? Yes. Yes, you do. Sufficiently supported. Yeah, sometimes they do great, sometimes they don't. The more supports, the better. A lot of failed prints with few supports, yeah. Hollowed models that also create suction. Yes, that is something I learned as well. A hollow model is essentially, you know, think of like an egg. Imagine an egg being, it's creating the middle of that as a lot of space in there to create suction, which can ruin the print or cause issues with that. So, yes, absolutely. So we'll get to see if we have a better, you know, reaction, I guess, with this type of better print. Result is not the word I was saying, not reaction. Then if we do the automatic ones. It doesn't take too long either. That's my favorite thing about it. The last test I did, which was 4 dice, took about 2 hours. Not a ton of time. Interesting that this needs to be supported. It's like, how about you just put it right where I really need it to be? Sufficiently supported. Why is this red? Why are you red? What? What? Alright, so be it. I think it's like you are sufficiently supported, but then clearly you are not. All right, let's apply. So we have our set of the vertically ones, and then we have our set of the automatic generated ones. So just to be able to kind of compare them side by side. You can kind of see first off just like how much more of a base this one's getting. And just sort of the random chaotic nature of it's just really supporting wherever it needs to. Much more broad coverage, but this one is much more geometric. I realize that I'm not really showing you everything. The difference between those two. So this will tell us how long the print will take for the whole shebang here. I'm going to come in here and adjust our size. So I'm going to just click 1. This will tell me how tall it is. Or sorry, this is the scale. So this says it's 33 millimeters. 35 millimeters. I don't know if this includes the base. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to delete the supports here on this one. And I'm curious. Scale. 25 millimeters. Now, this one auto-generate supports. Okay. 35. So this is including, it's important to note this is including the supports. Now, because of that, I actually probably have to redo the supports at least on this. So I'm going to delete, because I want this to be bigger. How many millimeters? Let's use Google for this. Millimeters to inches. Because what will happen, I'll show you, is if I say scale, you know, I want to scale this up 20%. All the supports go away. So I'm probably going to keep all these dice. I'm going to measure all the rest of the dice I have real quick. Half an inch. You know, it's also in this direction though. All right, let's see. millimeter to inches. So if I have like 0.75 of an inch, just to give you an example, 0.75 of an inch is this much. So if I'm coming in here, I'm going to take these apart. I should have done this, should have checked this before. Right, and so I take this and I say, how tall are you? You're 15 millimeters. Okay. So 15 millimeters is 155. Nope. Just over half an inch. And I'm comparing it to this. It's actually smaller than what I have right now. So everything in here needs to be scaled up. So let's use this as the base marker. I scaled it up 1.2, which means I need to redo all those supports very likely. That's okay. It didn't take too long, and we can do it before the end of the stream, which is great. So I did 1.2, which makes this object 35 millimeters. I want to make this like a 2-inch one, though, the big ones. So let's say, to make it 2 inches, 50 millimeters. Okay. So let's go back here. 1. Great. Both of these should be scaled up by 2. Oh. Roughly 50 millimeters. So you see the difference in size. Also shows you like how small the print bed is. And shows you how small these other little dice would be. Alright, so this one, we were going to quickly do this and just get this out of the way. No, we'll do that later. Let's clear, 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 clear. Select all of these. We'll go scale. We'll say 1.5. Okay. I'm going to bring this over here. Hide this over here. And quickly auto support all of these. I think we did 1.5 on all these as well. So if I select all of these, what you'll see very likely is that all those supports go away, so I don't actually need to clear them in that way. Auto generator supports, yep, great. So that's why it's important to get your scale down first, because now I have to redo a bunch of the stuff I did, which is frustrating, but it doesn't take too long, especially if you don't really care about the auto support element of it. Notice though the print time jumped up drastically because you know, the volume, the mass of what we'll actually be printing is substantially higher than it was before. And that's going to keep going up because the rafts themselves take a pretty good amount of material to print, as you can see. So this will probably be a 10-hour or so long print if we printed all these at once. Did I just grab something twice? I did. Clear. All right, we're going to come in here. We're going to edit. Do exactly what we did. We're going to do this much faster this time. Boom, boom, boom. Just not liking seeing that red. All right, one down. I like to see any red if possible. Just makes me feel a little bit better about it. Three more. Two more. And part of, just so you know, the intention for me creating these little bevels was to hide these supports. I knew that I would need to have a little extra room in there. So I was kind of hoping that it would work out. We'll see. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. All right, we just got to do the 20. What program is this? We are using Preform. Preform is what Form Labs, or the Form series of printers, uses as its prepping to print objects. We are getting close. We got about 6 minutes left in the stream. If anybody has questions today, anything we've worked on, please let me know. Pretty simple, but also kind of a fun project to just do for the day. If you have access to a 3D printer or Shapeways or anything like that, I'd recommend it. It's very, relaxing and pretty zen of a project, which is kind of fun to just make some dice. Obviously, you could go way crazier than I did today. You could go way simpler than I did today. So whatever one works. My computer is, fans are kicking on for sure. If I can hear that. All right, let's hit this up, this up, this up. I was hoping to avoid those, but we'll add them. Put one here, put one here, here, here. So they're not an auto support feature. There is an auto support feature, and we did do that on a couple of the other ones. The reason I'm doing it this way is I had watched a couple videos and had, through an experiment of my own, realized that if you have a lot of supports on the actual face of the die, meaning like where it's going to land, I have seen on my tests that you're going to have to definitely sand that area. Because if you don't, it's really not wanting to put anything here. Failed to add support. Failed to add support. Okay. That one might just have to... What? There you go. Didn't even help. There you go. It just has a lot more issues that way. So, sorry, as I'm getting distracted trying to answer your question. It basically makes it a lot harder because it's almost like a way of like weighting the die, meaning like if you put an object on the opposite side of a 20, a natural 20, right? Everybody wants to roll natural 20s. If you put a little scarring on the other side, it'll make it harder to roll the 20 because there's little lumps and bumps and stuff like that get in the way. So what I'm trying to do with this series of supports is to limit the amount of supporting on the actual face of the die. So that's why you see me trying to place them either right here in the corners or in those grooves. You are sufficiently supported. Thank you. All right, so this is an 8th. Those are all done. This is now an 8th. Oh, wait, there's a print. Show detected problems. What? Edit. Now it's showing me all these problems. Apply. Still has an error. This one has an error. What? It's like creating problems. Apply. 5. Okay. Edit. Apply. 2. This one has problems. 1, 2. Okay. Apply. There we go. Now everything is good. Thumbs up are good. 8 minutes and 30 seconds. This is how much material it will take. And what we can do now is we can obviously save this, which I will now. Save as. Dice set. Saving that. And then I can also do my layout, which is, as this saves, it's going to be this button right here on the left. So if I lay this out, you can do layout all, and it'll just kind of lay it out for you in a more evenly spaced manner, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to end up saving this one more time. This little orange button here on the side will actually send it to my printer, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to do this as soon as the stream is closing, but we are just about out of time because, we're done. So I can take this and I can say, done. This is saying the model and the cartridge are not compatible. It's because they have a different resin in right now, but I can upload the job over there. So I'm going to do that. Thank you all very much, by the way. Super appreciate you all being here. Is my printer resin based? It is. It is a Form 3. It's kind of behind me here. I'm going to take this off because we don't need to watch me upload. It's right here behind this little cover thing. So next week I'll have a set of dice for everybody to check out. So come and check that out. Again, we're streaming next week every Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific. So poke your head in, say hi, and keep working on your projects. All right, everybody. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all very soon.